What is going on, Headliner Nation? Welcome back. Next episode, Fantasy Headliners. Welcome back to the Draft.com studios, where today we're continuing our series on buying or selling current players at their ADP. In this episode, we're talking about round 7, and this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. Real quick, before we get into it, just a reminder, we're giving away an autographed Alvin Kamara jersey. All you have to do is purchase one of our draft guides by August 15th. If you've purchased one, before now and up until August 15th, you are eligible to win that autographed jersey. Make sure you go check it out at the website, thefantasyheadliners.com. But we're not going to waste a whole lot of time. It's a quick hitting video, Kyle. Let's get into round 7.
Let's roll with it at 7.01. A guy that's been talked about a lot this offseason, and that is Derrius Guice from the Washington Redskins. And as much as I love Derrius Guice, and I think he is a difference maker in the NFL at some point, he's a sell for me this year, unfortunately. I love Derrius Guice, but with Adrian Peterson there, Chris Thompson still there, I think they work him back slowly. And because of that, you're going to see him lose more touches than we would like to spend a 7th-round pick on.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is I really like the future of Derrius Guice. I think he is the future there in that backfield, possibly with Bryce Love, in the next few years. But for right now, as long as Adrian Peterson is still there, Chris Thompson back in the mix, like you said, I just can't trust the type of volume he's going to get on a week-to-week basis. Now, I have heard some rumors, and it's just been Twitter talk. It hasn't been anything legit. But what happens if they're really pleased with Derrius Guice and maybe they trade Adrian Peterson? That may change things a little bit. So if something like that happens, I would have to change him to a buy. But for right now, I'm selling also.
Heading into the 7.02 pick, Latavius Murray from the New Orleans Saints. And kind of the same thing as Derrius Guice. There's another running back, obviously Alvin Kamara there, that's going to be taking a lot of workload. But the difference is we've seen that work in this New Orleans Saints offense before. Kamara being a top running back, Mark Ingram being a top running back. I don't think Latavius Murray is a running back 1 by any means this year, but spending a 7th-round pick on him might not be a bad idea when you could have some running back 2 numbers out of him at some point.
Yeah, this one I'm a little conflicted on. I dropped him down my rankings here in the recent episode, and it's really just because I want to dive a little bit deeper in. Now, there's a whole lot of people that may not have heard the name, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's like Divine Ozigbo there in New Orleans. It sounds crazy, but is this dude going to take away maybe part of the work that Latavius Murray has? That's just something I'm taking a look at. I love Latavius Murray. I love that old Mark Ingram role in this offense. But for right now, just digging a little bit deeper, I think he still is a buy here because, like you said, if anything were to happen to Kamara, he's going to get a huge, huge volume. And plus, he still has that goal line upside. I'm going to buy Latavius Murray also.
Yep, absolutely. And the goal line upside is what you mentioned. That gives him a weekly running back 2 upside for the overall season, though. More than likely a running back 3, but still decent value right here. Moving on now to the next pick in the 7th round, the 3rd overall pick in the 7th round, Christian Kirk. And the Cardinals offense has been much talked about this offseason, but Jake and I, we're kind of on the same page with this offense. We like where it's headed. We like the potential upside. Is Christian Kirk the wide receiver 1 in Arizona this year, though?
I think it's still Larry Fitzgerald just based off of tenure. I mean, I don't think they're just going to push him to the curb. He's back for 1 more year, and he's looked rejuvenated, and he's looked great in camp. However, going forward, there is so much young talent there with Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler. I'm excited to see what Christian Kirk could do. He was a big playmaker at times last year, and he could be once again this year. I'm excited to see him kind of mold with Kyler Murray as they mature in this league. I'm definitely buying Christian Kirk 100%.
Yep, also buying him. Next up on the list is going to be Eric Ebron. A lot of people thought, the change in scenery last year would do him good, and guess what? It did. Big year for Eric Ebron. However, as we like to say on this show, Jack, Mother, and Doyle could end up being healthy for the beginning of the year. They have another target there, another red zone target in Devin Funchess. Paris Campbell is there now. A lot more weapons that could potentially take away from him. Eric Ebron is one of my biggest sells of this offseason.
Yeah, and same to me. I mean, yes, he had a great year last year, not taking anything away from Eric Ebron, but we don't always buy the touchdowns. He had huge touchdown numbers, and do I think that he's a better red zone target than Jack Doyle? Possibly. I mean, I know #NeverFunchess is there in town now, but I really think Jack Doyle eats up a lot of the targets in the middle of the field. Once they get closer to the goal line, yes, you'll have the T.Y. Hiltons, the Eric Ebrons, the Devin Funcheses of the world. Paris Campbell's going to be involved there a little bit more. I'm just not buying Eric Ebron. There's a few guys further down the list that I would rather have.
7.05 is Austin Eckler, and his ADP continues to climb. Every day that we don't see Melvin Gordon return, Austin Eckler seems to be the favorite to get the majority of the workload there. But at the end of last year, we saw it when Melvin Gordon missed a few games and Eckler kind of stepped in. He just didn't take the reins of that offense. And I think he's a much better player when he's a supporting member and he's not the guy in the backfield. And even though if Melvin Gordon were to miss the season, this is probably a decent price for him, it's still a little too high for me. And I'm going to sell him, which might be a little bit of a surprise to some.
Well, if it's a surprise, they're going to be surprised with both of us because I'm selling him also. Like you said, he couldn't really handle that full 3-down workload. I like Austin Eckler in the position he is in this offense. He fits it perfectly. That 3rd down back, that pass catching back, he can make things happen. I actually like Justin Jackson a little bit more as that early down running back, and you can get him a lot later if you want to. Yes, if it comes out that Melvin's for sure going to sit, that ADP is going to rise. But for right now, I'm taking Justin Jackson before I'm taking Austin Eckler. I'm selling.
7.06, Myles Sanders, a guy that Jake and I referred to as the running back 1 in this draft class. He landed in a situation that could potentially be very good for him, but this year there's a lot of mouths to feed in that backfield. So is 7.06. Are you buying or are you selling? I'll still buy Myles Sanders here. I like him a little bit more than Jordan Howard, especially with these rankings or with this ADP being half PPR, kind of looking at that PPR, half PPR standard type scoring. In standard leagues, yeah, a little bit more towards Jordan Howard, but if you're getting points per reception, Myles Sanders has the opportunity to have some really big weeks this year. Might be a little bit more boomer bust, but I'll still take that this late in the draft.
I'm just worried about the backfield. I am not going to miss an opportunity to mention the name Wendell Don't Tell Me I Have Smallwood just because it fits for the team. You also have Corey Clement. You mentioned Jordan Howard and Myles Sanders. Darren Sproles is still there. I mean, how many running backs do they possibly need in Philadelphia? I'm starting to think that they were on sale at Goodwill or something because there's a lot of them there, and I just don't know how they're going to use them yet. Jordan Howard's looked great in camp. Myles Sanders has looked great at times, but until that backfield solidifies, I'm just not interested. I'm selling.
7.07, Will Fuller. And I like his upside. He obviously has it. When him and Deshaun Watson have been on the field together, it seems like he's always capable of finding the end zone. But the guy just never seems to stay healthy. And because of that, I do have to sell him this year. But not only that, Kiki QT being in Houston now, I think he has a chance to make a huge impact in that offense. I think he's a guy that could end up being a little bit more of a safety net for Deshaun Watson with an offensive line that is not bad, but is not great either. Deshaun Watson might not have enough time to throw this year. If that happens, he's going to be looking for those guys running those shorter routes.
Yeah, I mean, I love Will Fuller as a player. I wish he could really be somebody that stays healthy because he could absolutely dominate the NFL in touchdowns on a yearly basis. It's just too risky. Though at this point of the draft, there's a lot of other wide receivers out there with huge upside also that I don't quite have the injury risk with. Love Will Fuller. Don't love his ligaments because they don't love him and his body. I'm going to go ahead and sell Will Fuller.
Coming up next, Matt Ryan. One of my targets for those of you that really want to make sure that you have a quarterback that can throw a lot of touchdowns, but not spending too early on one. So here in the 7th round, Matt Ryan is going to be a buy for me, an offense that could be very, very dangerous in 2019. He's going to get his. He's going to eat. He's going to have a ton of touchdowns. Can't really say enough good things. Let's buy him here.
Absolutely, 100%. This is where I start buying some quarterbacks. Matt Ryan being one of the first ones off the board. Love the schedule. Look at some of the games he's going to play. You know, just inside that division. I mean, we know that Tampa Bay may be able to move the ball. We know that the Saints are going to be able to move the ball. These could be some high-scoring games that they're involved in where he's forced to throw, 4 quarters. It's an offense that's going to be high-powered. It's going to be playing indoors a lot. Absolutely love Matt Ryan coming off of a huge 2018. Sign me up for Matt Ryan in 2019. I'm buying as well.
7.09, Vance McDonald. And I've talked about Vance McDonald so much this offseason. I really don't have anything else to say about him. He's a buy, plain and simple.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, with the amount of vacated targets in that Pittsburgh offense, Vance McDonald is about to see a huge uptick in volume. They're going to be looking for playmakers, and if anybody gets injured in that wide receiving group, Vance McDonald is just going to continue to eat on a regular basis. Love the upside of Vance McDonald, buying him also.
7.10. Darrell Henderson, Todd Gurley's backup, has crept into the 7th round at this point, and he's a sell for me because I still have not given up hope on Gurley. I still think he has a really good season. Yeah, he's going to lose some touches to Henderson, but this isn't going to be like a Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara type split. It's not going to be that kind of a backfield. In my opinion, Todd Gurley is still going to be the guy there. Henderson will have some upside maybe in certain weeks. However, his only real big upside is going to be if Todd Gurley were to go down again with an injury. There's some other players I'd rather have here at this ADP. I'd rather get him another round or two later.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, really. Not a whole lot anyway, but it just seems like we heard so much about Todd Gurley and his knee and how he's going to be limited and how he's going to be miss time. Avoided the PUP list, came out there at training camp. He's been competing in one-on-one drills, looks okay. And I'm not saying that they've just rested him for no reason, because obviously you don't do that in the Super Bowl, but I'm starting to think that maybe it's not quite as bad as a lot of people had anticipated. And for that reason, I'm going to sell Darrell Henderson. I think Todd Gurley's going to start trending up the boards, and Henderson's going to start moving down.
7.11, Jared Cook, the new addition there in New Orleans. And he might not reach some of the numbers that we saw him get last year. I'll still buy him here, though, especially if you decided to wait this long on a tight end. I think he has a decent season. I think he's going to be a mid to low tight end 1. I don't think he's going to be a high upside tight end 1, a guy that finishes maybe top 5. I think you're looking mid to low, but I'll buy him here. I think this is pretty appropriate value for him.
Yeah, it's not a bad value. I mean, you're not going to get the original Jimmy Graham numbers when he first came to New Orleans, and you're not going to get the same Jared Cook numbers from Oakland last season, like you mentioned. But they are looking for some targets. They are looking for some weapons in this offense. We know we have Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara as the top 2 pass catchers, but who is it after that? I mean, they have a lot of role player type of guys. Is it Traquan Smith? Is it Ted Ginn? I mean, who is it? Jared Cook has an opportunity to come in with a decent target share, a nice touchdown upside, and in a Drew Brees-led offense, it's not a bad position for him. I'll buy Jared Cook also.
And let's finish out the 7th round. 7.12 is going to be Carson Wentz. And we already talked about buying Matt Ryan here. However, I'm going to sell Carson Wentz. I'm much lower on him this season than a lot of people, mainly because, and we talked about this with Myles Sanders already, there is a buttload of running backs there. Because of that, I think this is a Philadelphia offense that really leans on its defense and its run game. And we're going to see a whole lot of rushing attempts this year. And that's going to be mainly for 2 reasons. Number 1, to control the game. Number 2, keep Carson Wentz healthy. Don't put him in that pocket too long. Get the ball out of his hands. He's still going to be a good quarterback. This is just a little too early for me right now.
Yeah, I'm going to pass also. I'm going to sell, and I know every Eagles fan and their mother is about to get butthurt on this video. It's not so much for me to say that he's injury prone, because he's had some bad luck, but there's no more, Nick Foles there to back him up. There's concerns there for me for Carson Wentz. He's got plenty of weapons. I mean, Deshaun Jackson is there. They drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Alshon Jeffrey. They have a ton of options. I'm just not sold that they throw it as much as a lot of other people think they do. And like you mentioned, with all those running backs, they're going to be running the football a lot. And plus, there's a few quarterbacks a little bit later that I'd rather have. I'm passing and selling on Carson Wentz myself. So we agree there. We know if the people hate us, they can hate us together, Kyle.
Don't hate us, Eagles fans. Don't do that.
No need to get all butthurt in the beginning of August. We'll see how it turns out. But hey, that is round 7. That was the quickest round I think we've maybe been to. But hey, let us know what you guys think. We're one of the most interactive channels here on YouTube. If you have a question about a player, maybe you see something a little bit different with these guys, by all means, be respectful. Put it down in the comment section. We would love to have a discussion back and forth with you. We're really trying to help each other out because we all want to win fantasy championships here in 2019. Real quick, before we get out of here, head over to our website, thefantasyheadliners.com. A lot of other great information and articles to check out over there, plus draft guides for sale, $19.99, and they're flying off the virtual shelves Don't miss your opportunity to grab one now. Everybody's sending back some positive feedback, so make sure you get that before it's too late. Hopefully you guys all have a great rest of your week, and Kyle and I will see you later.